So, welcome to my backyard. I'm going to take this spot right here, which already has a composter, just a regular composting bin from the previous owner. Doesn't work too well. It's kind of awkward, hard to reach. I'm going to take that bin and I'm going to build a worm bin there instead. So first thing is going to be to break down this one and probably use a lot of the lumber and wood for that. Here is the lumber that I'm going to use for the bin, and the concrete bricks are going to be the base of the bin so that it has good drainage and other animals can't dig their way in, and so the worms kind of have a bottom to their bin. I don't know if that's important or not, but it will have good drainage, and there'll be lots of cracks in that, which I'll film the base when I get it. So these are 12 foot, well, 2 by 6 by 12 foot boards, and then some 4 by 4s, and then some little redwood slots, which I'm going to make a slat down the middle so that the worms, I'm going to feed one side, and then it's going to be a horizontal migration across to the other side when one side's full. So there'll be like a mesh in between so they can flow through to the other side. So first thing I have to do is it's going to be 36 by 36 roughly. So first thing I have to do is cut the lumber. Okay, as you can see, I've cut all the wood and assembled it, and those are 35, that box is 35 by 35. And the bricks are laid out down below, and they kind of overlap on that side. And the 4 by 4s are holding it all together with some 3 and 3.5 inch screws. So now we're ready to put in the middle piece, where the worms will start on this side, feed them on this side, stop feeding them, and then start feeding on this side, and the horizontal migration, the worms will go over to that side. So in the summertime, I think you can start the migration rather shallow, because I think the higher up it gets, the more heat. Even though this doesn't get direct sunlight in the summertime, it has a potential of heating up too much for the worms. So I think we keep it as close to the ground as we can. In the wintertime, on the other hand, Northern California gets to, it can get below freezing sometimes. So I think the higher up we feed before the migration, the more heat will build up in the middle of the worm composting bin. So I think it's kind of versatile in that way. All right, let's work on the middle piece. We're going to put 2 1 by 1s redwood pieces here to hold a slat in the middle with some sort of mesh, and I still have yet to work that out. So see you when that is finished. Okay, so I leveled and screwed in 2 1 by 1s on the far side and 2 1 by 1s on the near side, and those are 1 inch apart for kind of like a slat. Then I took some plastic kind of mesh. I think it's about a 1/2 inch grid squares. It just comes in a roll at the big box store with some redwood trim. Measured it, and it's going to slide right into those slats. And additionally, behind it is a piece of plywood that was, it's real thin. It's about a 3/8 or 1/4 inch, and that will be the barrier it will slide into to keep the worms from migrating until it's time. So let's slide it in and see if it works. Perfect. And this is in 2 pieces, so I can kind of maneuver them if I only want them to feed on one side or the other. Okay, that's perfect. And okay, so there's 3 pieces of solid, so I can maneuver them if I want to kind of turn this one horizontal and kind of keep it lifted up so the worms only come from underneath, or I can leave it on just one side so they can migrate on just this top side. So it's just kind of flexible that way. So I'll be feeding on this side first, the left, filling all this up, and then when this is probably 3/4 full, stop feeding on the left and then just feed on the right. So the only thing left to do is make a lid for this, or a top for this. Okay, the horizontal worm bin is completed. There is the lid, which is put on with some hinges in the back, some fence slats, cedar fence slats, and I put a coat of paint, semi-gloss interior on the top. No VOC. I didn't want anything harmful to get in the worms. So there it is. I'll probably do an update, see how it's working. We will be putting in some material on the left-hand side tomorrow, and some worms that a friend of mine has that are already acclimated to the outside. And here in Sacramento, the lows are usually about 40, or high 30s, low 40s at night. And during the day it's been 60, 70. So should be good temperature for the worms. So stay tuned for the update. See ya.